And I've asked them questions about, hey, why didn't you do this? Why did you do this? For that, they despise me. I'm not treated like a citizen. I'm treated like an enemy. So it's very, very interesting that someone within their own department would receive that same treatment. So I've got a pretty crazy and a very revealing story for you. And this is no doubt some stuff that a police department does not want you to hear. I need to interject something here real quick. While making this video, I fully grasped how hard-hitting this is, what you're about to see and hear. We're going to hear firsthand what's going on within this department, from within this department, and you're going to see it for yourself. It's not every day we see this. This is the first time I've seen something like this, but it's very telling, and I assure you this goes on at departments across the country. So make sure you stick through and watch this whole video and take in what I really feel is a bombshell. While you're at it, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. It's free and it helps us reach more people with real and true information and real life scenarios. I'm actually surprised I got this information through public records, no less. Not just because it's pretty damning, but also because some of it somewhat relates to an active internal investigation that we've talked a lot about, and it has some information about that internal investigation. And as you know, they don't release anything relating to an internal investigation until it's complete and becomes public record. And all of this goes along with that blue line of silence and how officers see retaliation instead of praise if they speak up on wrongdoing by fellow cops. And what I'm going to show you is pretty crazy, so I want to get into it. You saw previously that I recently had a conversation with Officer Shadrach King of the Orange City Police Department in Florida, and I believed that he might have been the one to come forward to his administration about the misconduct of fellow officer Jamaris Brown, who was later terminated, arrested, and charged. Side note, those charges are being dropped, not because he didn't do it, but because of corruption during the investigation. That's a different story. But I got a chance to talk to King one day, and he indicated in his time in law enforcement, he has come forward with misconduct and wrongdoing. He has never been praised for it, and has seen retaliation for it. He did not indicate what department he's seen retaliation from, but I see signs that it's from the Orange City Police Department. From the documents that I've gone, obviously you know that I've been all in that. But I'm sure you know. Yes. I've been all into that. And in everything I've gone through, I don't need you to confirm or deny this either, but my impression from what I'm seeing indicates that you might have brought those issues to the attention of administration here.
Sure, all right. Absolutely did.
And because if we have a cycle of everybody turning their back, these things will just continue and progress and they'll get worse.
Correct.
And these people rise to the top, which those things have already happened. So if any time in your law enforcement career you have gone to administration to inform them of things that you've seen going on from another officer, things, illegal things or immoral things, rights violations, law violations, whatever it might be, has any administration or any member of any administration at any department ever come back to you and thanked you for coming to them or praised you or given you a commendation or anything like that?
Not one time.
Not one time. But it's surprising to me that administrations won't come forward and say, and you would think they would make a big deal. Like, hey, look at these terrible things that were going on. Here's how we found out. We need to praise this to encourage people, because a lot of people do fear. A lot of them, if not most of them, are afraid to speak up because of that retaliation. And there's no encouragement other than being told when they first get hired, hey, this is what you need to do if this happens. In my opinion, they don't mean it.
No, absolutely not.
That's just what they want the public to see. In reality, in my opinion, they don't want you to come forward.
Of course not. That's what they always say, but unfortunately, that's not reality, and it's been proven time and time again.
Have you ever seen retaliation? If you don't have to answer.
Have I ever seen retaliation? Of course.
For those
more
things?
times than I would like to, but yes, I've definitely seen that.
A few weeks later, I stopped at the scene of a crash just to get some B-roll footage, and I noticed that Officer King was on scene. Oh no, is that something they're living in?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Yep.
So that's not just their car, that's their house. That's terrible. Touching on the topic again of police seeing retaliation for breaking that blue line code and speaking up, I told King that I've tried to ask his chief in email and in person if they encourage their officers to speak up and come forward, and if they praise such behavior, But for some reason, suspiciously, that goes completely ignored. So you don't encourage people to come. I'm trying to ask you, have you ever praised an officer for coming forward against misconduct? You don't want that, do you? Hey, Chief, you got that email? I'm just curious. Do you encourage officers to come forward with misconduct or wrongdoing? Have you ever commended an officer for coming forward with misconduct? Anybody? So just to clarify, you don't commend officers for coming forward with misconduct? You don't encourage them to come forward, and you don't praise them for coming forward. That's correct, right? What's up, Chief? You don't get in your email often, huh? We have to be patient with loud, obnoxious tow truck sounds for a minute, but it will pass. And I had just told King about asking those questions of his chief and administration in person and in email, yet they ignore me.
You were saying you sent the department an email and they never responded back to you?
Yeah, I just want to know, hey, I know officers have come forward to them with information on other officers' wrongdoing.
Right.
And I want to know what they do with those officers who come forward. To praise them, encourage them, to not make them fear retaliation for doing it. Mm-hmm. And they just won't respond to the emails.
Well, I wouldn't feel too bad because I recently wrote them in email myself, just kind of like getting things off my chest. And they never responded to me either.
Really?
Yeah. So I wouldn't feel bad. I would not feel bad. It's not personal. That's probably maybe they're too busy.
So they will respond to your. So I have sent them several emails based on the same topic, and I've sent a bunch of follow-up emails asking them if they got the emails.
Right.
I've even asked them in person, like I said, if they've seen the emails, or I've asked them the questions directly.
Right.
Hey, do you praise officers who come forward on misconduct of other officers? They won't answer in any way. So you sent whatever the topic of the email was. You said get things off your chest.
Yeah.
And they've not responded to you.
They haven't responded to me.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too much into it or whatever. Is that something you did recently?
I would say it was recent. Yeah.
And you sent it to your administration?
I sent it to administration. Yeah.
So like I was saying about their lack of response or acknowledgement makes me have to draw my own conclusions, makes the public have to draw their own conclusions.
Right.
I just drew one again with that. Again, I don't know what the topic of, or, I don't know what was in your email, but that's interesting.
Yep.
That's interesting, man. I'm kind of at a loss for words.
I am too. It is what it is. Yeah. Interesting how I sent an email, a lengthy one at that, and I don't even get a okay or something acknowledging that you received it.
A lengthy email.
It was
Something you put some thought into.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sucks. That's very interesting. I don't know, the scenario. It's very interesting to me that it sounds like you're dealing with some of the same things I'm dealing with, but for me, I know they won't say it, but I know your administration, or most of your administration, despises me. They don't like me. I've not stolen their lunch money. I've not slapped anybody's mother or anything like that. I've just shown things that have happened. That's all. I've not personally done anything. I just said, hey, public, look what happened here, look what happened here. And I've asked them questions about, hey, why didn't you do this? Why did you do this? For that, they despise me. And for that, they ignore me. Any questions I have, I'm not treated like a citizen. I'm treated like an enemy. So it's very, very interesting that someone within their own department would receive that same treatment. That's interesting to me. And that makes me draw some conclusions, especially about the topic we talked about last time.
Yes, sir.
Me personally,
yeah, I understand.
Who knows, but that's my guess. They won't speak for themselves, so I have to figure out what's what. So just like you, I'm very curious to know what's inside this very lengthy email he mentioned, and I think I was able to get just enough information to find out. And department emails are public record. So we're going to head to the Orange City Police Department and see what we can find. Gotta stop into the Orange City Police Department. Yesterday when I came in here, as soon as I opened this door, it reeked of weed. You got blasted with it right here, like they're having a party. Oh, it still reeks of weed in here.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, good. Is it you? It reeks of weed in here. Is that you doing that? Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Let's see his eyes. You're trying to block him. I got to put in a new record request. With sometime, I'm not sure the exact date. I'm going to go with in the last 2 weeks. So I guess any email from Shadrach King.
Okay, let me write this down because
Oh.
I have to let Heather know.
Yeah, okay.
She has all the records.
Okay.
I'll be right back. Let me get some paper. Okay, so what are you looking for again?
Any email within, I would say, the last 2 weeks of today. I'll try that to start. From Shadrach King to Chief Miller, Wayne Miller. I believe, like I said, I think it might have been sent to all of administration, but I know he was a recipient, or at least I've heard he was a recipient.
Any email within the past 2 weeks from Officer King that was sent to Chief Miller?
Yes.
Okay.
Either to Chief Miller or all admin, however.
Okay.
So that's it for now.
I'll make sure that she sees this.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. So I did get the email, and it is lengthy, and damn, it's shocking that they wouldn't respond to an email like this from a member of their own department. Even more shocking seeing that he sent it to HR as well. I'm going to read this to you, and you go in the comments and let me know what you think about the fact that what I'm about to read to you has been completely ignored. Good morning, Chief. I just wanted to voice a couple concerns I've been contemplating over the last few months. To begin with, I have never in my life felt so disrespected before by anyone or any organization the way I've been disrespected by you and this organization. I've been highly disrespected in the past several times, but this definitely has quickly become number one. When I went through the ringer with the auditors, I felt like you and this city didn't have my best interest at heart. That immediately opened my eyes to the kind of leadership I was under. I had people reaching out to me from other agencies asking what you as chief were doing to negate some of the nonsense that the auditors were doing, and the only response I could give them was nothing. I ended up getting through that by the grace of God, but as life works, I was tried again soon after. Someone who I considered to be my best friend, someone who was there when I proposed to my wife, the same person who pinned my badge on me when I was sworn in at this agency, put me in a very difficult position to where I didn't have a choice but to report, essentially, his criminal activity, and somehow I ended up being at fault. Members of this department, including yourself, ostracized me, treated me like I was the enemy and traitor for months. I truly didn't feel safe working here, and quite honestly, I still don't. You always preach to us to do the right thing no matter what, yet when one of your officers does the right thing, you allow him to be treated like garbage after the fact, and to me, that's absolutely wrong. I understand Brown was loved and respected by admin and the department, however he messed up, and instead of dealing with it, I was the one made out to be the villain in the scenario, which wasn't right. I get it, he embarrassed you and this department, but how was that my fault? How do you expect officers to come forward against other officers not doing the right thing if this is how they are going to get treated time and time again? The whole incident with Nathan Stewart, the only reason it was brought to your attention was because I reported it to Sergeant Kavita. If I never would have said anything, Nathan would have still been working here today. It's a shame because so many other members of the department knew what had been going on for months but refused to say anything. Is that the kind of agency you want to run? Cops covering up for other cops' criminal behavior? That's not an organization I want to be a part of, if that's the case. Rumors quickly began circulating around the agency that I was making up the allegations regarding Brown and I was trying to seek a romantic relationship with the victim or in a romantic relationship with the victim, which is the real reason why I made up the allegations. The sad part is, from what I heard, those rumors originated from administration, which, if true, is absolutely childish, and that will be dealt with. In case you didn't know, I went to Captain El Shami back in October to make him aware of what Brown was doing, and he assured me that he would look into it. Why that wasn't mentioned in the initial report is kind of alarming, especially since that is a crucial part of the case. To the public, That gives the perception that the agency is trying to cover up for Captain Elshami. When Volusia County SO was wrapping up their criminal investigation regarding Brown, I was contacted by former Detective Teskey in reference to meeting him at District 6 on my day off. Mind you, I had just met with his partner the day prior to discuss the case. When I got to District 6, he advised me that he was tasked by the Orange City Police Department to ask me to view my personal cell phone because it was believed that I was sharing information with auditors about the case, which I know all of you think I am. Of course, I told him he wasn't seeing my phone for anything. However, the fact that he felt brave enough to ask me that question absolutely blew my mind, and it still does a couple months after the fact. I honestly felt like I was being the one investigated at that point in time, and I know there's a proper procedure when it comes to internal affairs investigations, since I was served with 2 of them in the same year at this agency. So, for a detective to call up an officer of another agency to conduct an investigation kind of seems to me like a clear violation of my officer's Bill of Rights. I truly gave this agency the opportunity to get ahead of this entire situation, but unfortunately, the ball was completely dropped, and maybe it wasn't even your fault due to the information not being shared with you that probably should have been shared with you. The victim felt like she wasn't being heard or taken seriously, so she did what she felt was necessary, and quite honestly, I don't blame her for doing whatever it is she did to ensure her voice was heard, and I support that and any victim that advocates for themselves, as we all should. Something else I feel like has been going on as a result of this incident is being treated as if I don't exist. I don't know what I did to you or anyone in admin to deserve this, but what I will say is if I treated you all the same way you treat me, I'd be written up for something. Yet, when roles are reversed, it appears to be okay. I'm not one of those officers who complains about pay, lack of specialty units, equipment, etc. The only thing I want from this agency and from his leaders is to be treated like a human being and not disrespected by you or anyone else solely based on the fact that I reported an officer who you all thought was perfect and ended up being a mistake. In Brown's defense, and I hate defending his actions, but he's a human and he messed up repeatedly. What I won't allow to happen is allow this city to punish me for what he brought on himself. It's not fair, and it has definitely created a hostile work environment for me, and I'm not the only one who noticed a change in how I'm treated by administration. I don't disrespect anyone, so I don't expect anyone to disrespect me. It's that simple. And it's then signed Shadrach King. Damn! How did they ignore this? This is a scathing email. I cannot believe they gave it to me. It's public record, but still. We may have to do another video where I unpack each paragraph here because there's so much between those lines. Hey, look who's in there. Police awareness. What's up, man? How you doing? Every time I come up to Target, almost, yeah, I find somebody sitting up here. It's funny running into you here, though. I talked to you last time I talked to you on that crash. Yes. You know, I was talking about the things I was talking about, and you made mention of an email, and I'm just going to be upfront with you. I put in a public record request for any emails that you had sent administration. Oh, you heard? It almost sounds like they're treating you the way they treat me.
Pretty close.
Yeah. It's out of curiosity. You don't have to answer me.
Yeah.
You mentioned you had been ignored. Did that change?
By the department?
Yeah.
It hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed.
No, it hasn't changed.
My personal opinion, it's shocking, it's disturbing, and it's disgusting that someone in a department could send their leadership words like that and to just go completely ignored. That's my opinion, man. Absolute shit.
You're not wrong.
Absolute shit.
You're not wrong.
But Matt. So that email confirms a lot of things that I've talked about, a lot of things we've said of this department, this administration. You're hearing it firsthand from someone within the organization. And if they are going to treat their own people that way, how are they going to treat the public? You'll hear it in several of my videos that I tell them they treat me like I'm an enemy. Now you have someone in their own department telling them the same thing. That one line in the email, cops covering up for other cops. Some people get mad when I say things like that. People who don't understand, they don't get it. They don't know the reality. So they get mad when he says it. Is he just as stupid as I am? I'd like to get into it more. For time, I won't. But we may revisit it. That email, every paragraph, it's got, like I said, so much between the lines. There's a backstory that I know of for just about all of that. I'd personally love to sit down with Shadrach King, because I'm sure there's a lot more behind all of those words than any of us realize. So there you have it. What happens when you betray the blue wall of silence? Exactly what you think would happen.